Recording in progress.
On that.
Zoom on.
Zoom is on.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Follow me to order. All right, we do have one little thing that's wants to be done, presented to town, so. Alice?
I just want to thank the town on behalf of Cross Mountain Sled Dog Race. Thank you very much for your assistance. And we had 33 teams show up in a short period of time. There was a week we had to get it going. So just hope next year we can have a little bigger race, and I appreciate the town's help.
We had a great time.
Good time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alice.
Thanks.
Yes. All right. So this is a workshop, so nobody's saying anything, we're just talking amongst ourselves, so. All right. Where do you want to start? One looks easy. Yep. Two. Very
All right,
good.
so we're gonna stay with two,
Yeah,
see if the town vote to make bookkeeper deputy treasurer position a full-time position. For the same benefits as other full-time employees. Article 3, see if town vote to make the rec director position a full-time position with the same benefits as other full-time employees.
So you wanted to modify that, right? The
No,
O2,
O2.
to see if the town vote to make bookkeeper deputy chair position a full-time position with the same benefits for a limited time.
Well, it's either we're doing that, leaving this alone, but we need to either have this article state that at the end of the current elected position, it's an appointed position. We need to have it, so that we're not creating another position. This is the
It goes from
elected to appointed.
on July 1st, 2024, it goes back to part-time.
No. No. With this article right here, what we're essentially doing is we're creating another position.
For a
for
one-year
the-
period.
well, I have,
No, that doesn't say anything, it's not a time limit on this. That's creating another full-time position in the town.
I thought one time limit.
Why would we want to do a time limit on the full-time? If we get this here and we have the time and money dumped into this position that's being created to take over that position when the elected official leaves, why would we even keep the elected official position?
right,
We don't need to have two people doing that.
Oh, no, that's not gonna fly. No way.
you don't think so?
How not? We're already talking about having a separate warrant article
To make,
to make that position appointed.
No,
After-
I'm totally against appointing. You
Why?
can override me, but I'm totally against
Yeah,
that.
why?
Point. It's a power grab, no way. It's a balance of power is what that position is.
everything I've seen with other towns is they're all going this way. That way they have,
That'll be the fastest way to piss the town people off and bring them out and droves and do this.
Good, bring mountain drones. Then
I don't think it will, I don't think it will, a lot of,
It always has in the past.
that's because it was a fight, because Wanda was running again. But if she's not running again, it's not gonna be an issue, I don't believe.
Go ahead and do it, but I'm against
I mean,
So what are you suggesting then?
it. It's an elected position by the town.
Okay, then that article 2 gets removed. Because just like the position you just stated that you do not want an article in there or anything to do away with the elected
This
position.
position is hired by her.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. No.
this is to the town to do it.
If you don't,
Part-time.
If you go back and look in the warrant. It is, the article is very specific. That it gives Wanda the ability to hire and fire.
Right.
Hire and fire a bookkeeper position. Tell me where that says that in that article. It doesn't. Wanda does not have the ability to hire and fire employees of the town. This is an employee of the town at a full-time benefit. She does not hire and fire. That's what the Board of Selectmen do. So it's gonna go
But not
either way.
not the treasurer's position, that's what.
Correct. Right now,
And if this is converting it to that, then I'm out.
what's the difference?
That was not my intent at all when we suggested going to. My idea of that being a full-time position for 1 year was to train her to be able to do learn the whole office, the tax collector, clerk, the whole thing. So that when that came for election, she could be prepared to take it over.
Okay, so what happens
if somebody else runs?
if Vinnie runs and Vinnie gets the treasurer's job? You've wasted your money with her?
Well, she's familiar with
But she doesn't win the election. So why are we gonna spend the money to train
so
somebody?
you want to wait and train her after
No.
was gone?
No, I want to keep the article in here.
I don't have a problem if what I don't agree with is that we're creating a full-time position to do the job that we've already got a full-time position paid for. Why are we doing that?
Then we don't just scrub it. Because that was the whole point, was to get her familiar with the people, to make her electable, to know the whole works.
And that's why this is in here.
But to make this so that it's appointed by the selectmen, that when she's elected, we appoint her. No, that's not.
You're actually a year away.
Yeah.
This article is for next year. 2024 is a year after that.
Right,
So. Right now, we're into this year, so we gotta figure out what we wanna do for this year. Do you wanna hire full-time and get things straightened out?
if there's any chance that it's gonna be an appointed by the selectmen,
Well, that's up to the townspeople to vote.
as long as they understand it, but I didn't understand this until just now.
But this article has nothing to do with that article.
That's not what you said. You said that when it comes time for election, this full-time position would go into that.
If the town votes not to have
The elected position.
elected position, right, if they vote that. Then we can hire her. If they don't do that and she runs and wins, that's great. If she loses, what do we do? Well, actually, it won't make any difference. 'Cause I won't be there either.
Well,
At that
the thing
point.
is,
But
Either
we
one,
need to look forward. I mean, that's my thing is we need to look forward and take care of this.
I just wanted the person that's going into that office to be as prepared as possible.
Right, but there's no guarantee that she's gonna be there
No,
anyway.
there's not, but she'll be familiar with the people. The people will.
That's why this article's here, to get her in there. That's what you want. You want her in there.
And that was the intent of this article, but then,
This article does not say to change anything else. It only asks for her job. That's all it's asking for.
for 1 year,
Right,
It doesn't-
no, it doesn't, say- not even for 1 year.
I know it doesn't, that's why we're gonna make it say that.
we can amend it, that's fine.
Right. Well, that's
But
what
if
I'm
we're
saying.
gonna, I really disagree with making that a year position. Because that puts the person that's gonna fill that position on a 1-year hook. And then, so where's the future in that? There is no planning, there is no future, because that person at the end of the year, well, sorry, you lost an election. So, sorry.
Can relook at it again next year. You know, that's what I would wait and see what next year brings.
Then maybe it shouldn't be,
We need the help.
I know we do.
So, I mean,
And the whole thing was to get things caught up, and then there was Michelle, if she leaves. Lynn would be in line to learn that and know what it is.
right, but she can do both jobs.
Not.
At this, she can be,
If she's elected into,
right,
so
so
she could go 20 hours there and 20 hours. in
for this year, she can do a little of each. If this passes,
Right,
right, so that's why we need to leave this in
that
there.
was my whole intent with it, that's where I was agreeable with it, but. once. So you're gonna write a separate article to make one, see if one would be appointed.
One's position, yes.
Yeah.
To make.
Yeah, that's a separate item.
Elected position to appointed for the treasurer. And actually, I do it for both.
We could do both.
Hmm.
Would you do them separate articles on?
And there again, that, I'm against the appointed. I'm against that position being appointed. If that's appointed, then we've got to have a town manager. We have to have someone. That's a go-between between the townspeople and the office.
Well, the question I have, John, in regards to that, is Denmark. They're all appointed. Hiram, they're all appointed. Baldwin, they're all appointed. Porter, they're all appointed. Pryberg, they're appointed. The town manager, even if we were to put in an article and get approval for a town manager, it's not elected. It's appointed.
Hmm.
It's not an elected
No, it's
position.
position.
Well, the whole
So-
draw after Brownfield, that's been the argument whenever it's come up.
The
John, you have to admit one thing, with Brownfield. It isn't always the position, it's the person. They vote the person, not the position.
I think a lot of it's the position.
I
disagree.
I'd say it's the
When-
person.
They
When we're
feel
sitting,
that by having a position elected, they've got a hold on the office.
Well, again, the townspeople can vote. You just put it out there for them to vote. They're the ones who make the decisions.
if the townspeople hold that position, that. Because it's elected, that they are holding the standard. Then the taxpayers need to come in. And they need to get. They need to take that control and engage it.
When they get
Because-
complacent, when they back away, when you don't hear from them, they're trusting us to do the job.
Agreed. But that's just it, you have an appointed position. The select board, we're not all gonna be here. There's gonna be, it could be somebody different every year.
But we're here for the townspeople solely.
Mhm.
There's been some administrations that got pretty ego and wanted to do it themselves. They wanted to,
How so?
I've seen where they've wanted things their way as a highway.
Well, I will say this.
And that's been years ago.
No, I'll say this. This is year 8 for me. That position that we're talking about. There's only one other person, actually 2 other people, that have sat in this room several times with outside professionals telling us problems. Big problems, not little problems.
But how come it doesn't go to the townspeople?
It does go to the townspeople. The problem with that is it's, oh, poor me, they're just after me. Am I lying?
Well, that's
Set right there
part of the
and
position.
tell us, okay, yeah, we just want the job done right. 38 months. 38 months. The books were behind being balanced. 38 months. But yet, putting an appointed person in that position is a power grab or a way to take control. With an appointed position, the board can hire an outside entity, hire a company to balance the books and make sure that the financial security of the town is taken care of monthly, not 38 months behind. On top of that, tell me why as a selectman, I should back hiring another full-time employee when we were already paying 2 part-time employees to do the same job and help with the same exact job.
Whatever, put them in. See where it goes.
I just, we gotta do something. I mean,
And leave it to the townspeople.
Right,
100%.
we were paying Sharon Jackson. And we're paying Lynn.
And the thing is, what I didn't understand about Lynn is it was specific in that article that it was for to help the treasurer. She hires and fires. That's that
She
position, the bookkeeper. Correct, 100%. I agree with that. Why is she across the hall doing registrations? Why is she cross training? If she's hired and fired by the treasurer, why is she across the hall? Is she bonded? First off,
Isn't Wanda in charge
No.
of both those?
no, they started off. No,
Michelle?
started off,
Michelle, she's elected division.
it started
So it's
off,
two elected.
they were both deputies. They covered each other. That's how it was.
Yeah, and then
And
they,
then over time, they've shed all the deputy duties. So now they're independent of each other. They don't have deputies. And a really good
Wanda-
example of that. Wanda has a deputy?
She's a deputy.
of
But
what?
of what?
I asked her, she said she didn't.
He used to, she hadn't,
She gave that up. Michelle started that scenario with when she gave up deputy treasurer, what, 3 years ago? 4 years ago? Yep, and that's when the whole deputy thing went across the halls. So I have no, personally, I have no problems with the cross training going on. But we've given, this board has given the authority over an employee to somebody else with no oversight and then just do as you please. No,
well, the town did that, we did.
it's the taxpayers. They're the boss. So,
Money was allotted for that position that she's doing now.
no, that was under the bookkeeper line item.
Yeah,
Raised, asked for 20,000, approved for 18.
That's
So-
what she's working off now.
Right,
But
well,
that
both
was for
for
her
both.
to hire.
Right, it was for
the
both.
town people voted for that to happen.
Yeah, but that's 18 grand.
I say it's up to the townspeople, we just put the articles there and they're the ones who make decisions,
Right.
you know?
So there, if, are we gonna keep, so Article 2, we keep it.
Yeah.
If we go to.
I didn't see where there was one for that position.
It's, yes. If you look on the second page. Go to the next page. Right here. These two that are different color, that's where they're addition of those two positions. Articles 2
But
and
I
3.
mean to have it pointed.
No, we haven't made that article, that's one of our things that we're gonna have.
Right. So this is my question. If we're gonna keep this in, if we're gonna keep Article 2 in, that's the gray, okay? On page 2.
You want a pen? I'll just keep pen just because you. No way, I can't believe it.
Let me make sure we don't have. There we go.
Well, that position is only till July 1st, 2024.
The elected provisions.
The full-time.
No, that's just laying out, this here is just laying out your.
Right, but
Yeah,
no,
fiscal
so
year.
what I'm saying is, if she's elected or appointed, either one. This position is eliminated. Or goes back to part-time.
Right, it depends on what people want to do at that point,
No, we have to go to vote to terminate.
Right. right?
We go to town hall, town meeting to terminate. That position
Which would be the June 14th.
of next fiscal year.
2024.
We'll make sure. If we're doing that. It's so. The line item.
On the part-time person? It would be an administrative, so it's. I believe it's good come out.
I just want to make sure it's bid, so we don't have.
It's not there, is it? Because of this. They're both in this one.
Right,
Well, that, the bookkeeper line item wasn't in. That was its own. Vote. That was his own article.
I think the way it's set up is if you vote for just the part-time, it's the 21, if you part for the full-time, it's the 42. You know, it's kind of put in here with all the numbers for people to have all the information right here in front of them.
Well, that's one of the things we need to think about though, because if we maintain Article 2. The bookkeeping line item, I can't find it. Remember we had bookkeeper line item
Right, it's
last year's,
it's into this, it's bookkeeping deputy treasurer, and it's got the 20 hours, there's 21,000 here.
okay, so
And then
that's,
if you go to 40 hours, that other one passes, it goes to 42.
so
that's why it's all
we're still
here.
gonna maintain. A
That-
part-time position.
Right.
Regardless.
Yeah.
So. And so Article 2, 3, Article 4, we already went through this with the. Budget committee. Article 5, same. With budget committee. 6. Did you know if Alvina ever got an answer? Michelle on the voting machine?
I do not.
Find out that. Article 7, fire department 49.5, gone through it. Article 8, 57,616 for new truck. 9, 30,000 divided into the 3 capital improvement accounts. 3,100 for the dog chaser woman. 350, 480, 464 carryover. And 350, 500 for public works. They got hashed out pretty well. Putting dirt out today.
Oh, yeah.
The transfer station 203 up from 182. All that. Right there.
What was the compact?
One, I think I made the most one 120
Yeah,
to replace both.
that's not in this. That's a separate thing because it's coming out of the.
Article 13, it's in there.
No,
So
But
we
we're doing,
can,
we've already done that.
yeah, we can scratch Article 13. And just either move everything out for whatever.
yeah,
Are you gonna give Alvina the update?
yeah,
Well, that's why she left it blank.
Yeah, at the time when she did this, we hadn't talked, Cliff was waiting on the pricing on those contractors.
So the next one. Was you all done in 12?
Yeah, we went over that in the budget committee meeting, so.
So, the next one I need to compact is 13.
No, well, she left the numbering down. She left it out. She'll number everything once
Oh,
we,
all right.
because we have other articles put in there, the appointed, elected, we got that, and she can place them and then run the numbering.
right.
The next article, see if town will vote to authorize any unexpended funds from 22 to 23 public works budget be rolled over into the capital improvement account. Why can't we just make that a? Get rid of the dates, get rid of the 22, 23, and just do it every year. It's not like I'm not gonna have to buy equipment. You know what I mean? That's gonna be an ongoing thing.
Right.
And the equipment's not getting any cheaper.
So if we got rid of the 22, 23, we'll get rid of the dating in that article.
Yeah.
Then it goes on until we bring another article forward to
Yeah.
change
So,
that article.
vote to authorize any unexpended funds from the,
Public Works budget. To be rolled.
okay, so
over.
instead of doing it to reduce tax, you put it into a fund to replace equipment?
Yes, yep. Because the thing is, whenever we go to town meeting. We don't have. We're not at the end of our fiscal year, and we never have. Approximately what is a decent number that we're given, that, hey, you know, say. Public Works has $50,000 left over their entire budget for that year. We don't know that number when we go to town meeting. So we won't know that until probably 2 weeks after July 1st, when they do their end of year closeout and new year beginning. That's when we would know what that number is that's going into the capital improvement accounts. Now, saying that, the next year, we know what's in there. So if, say, one of the trucks blows up and we got 150,000 in there and we can get another truck, we don't have to go to town vote to expend the capital improvement account. We can do that at the table. And
As long as they understand it, so you don't get a bunch of shit like buying the grader.
yeah,
But another thing would be, if
150.
we could get a handle on the public works director. At the university, I used to have a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
And as the inspector, I would evaluate each vehicle, and once a year, I'd have the spreadsheet on every vehicle. And when it got into the last 5 or 6 years, it estimated when that was gonna be retired or rolled out, rust wise, inspection wise.
yeah,
And I had 120,000 a year to work with. If we could have some kind of a plan like that here, where money could be put in for replacement of that truck
we did.
in a 10 or 20 year period.
We did, and so did the fire department. And look. When we did the scheduling on the trucks replacing, that was a hard sell, wasn't it? That was extremely.
Even though
hard
you
sell.
had the money.
Even with that, if you go back to Article. What is it? Article 9,
Yeah.
we do that every year. That's kind of a standard. Article 9 is page, 4th page back.
Pay for it.
Right here. We always do, it's pretty standard, 30,000 to be divided amongst the capital improvement accounts. So if somebody doesn't make the motion to equally put the word equal into that motion, into that article, then when after town meeting, the boards, we actually vote on how much goes to which account. We can do a dollar, 29,998 in one or whatever. We have that purview. So the good thing about the rollover stuff is we don't have to raise and appropriate anything. This is already raised and appropriated.
Do we know how much money's in there?
We need our line item. For So. But I would say get rid of the date in that. Let that article ride, because we only got to do it one time. It doesn't have to be a repeat every year.
Right.
Unless the board decides, you know what, there's too much getting rolled over to this account or whatever, and they can do an article and
Well, we should have some idea.
I hope to do. Because keep in mind that the numbers that if we get our audit results, that's not for this fiscal year, that's the last fiscal
Right.
year. So that number that's in that line is not what we have. So we actually have to pull a report.
Well, who pulls rank on the auditors?
Nobody pulls rank on the auditors.
How the hell do you get them to?
Did you call him?
Did you reach out to Ron? Did you reach out to Ron?
To who?
Ron, Ron Smith.
You were gonna call him after the last meeting,
Yeah, you were gonna talk to Wanda and the
the
auditor.
auditors.
Oh, yes?
You talk to Wanda?
No, all right, we don't do that.
Because, well, we need to find out anyway about the audit, because it's a statutory requirement to have that audit results in our warrant.
Hmm.
So it's April
Well,
15th.
this is
Third
bullshit.
week of
The
April.
back and forth, tit for tat. Everybody else has got theirs. How come we don't have ours?
Right.
And it's the auditor's
Again-
fault, so,
Well, I wouldn't quite say that.
well, I want to hear it from them.
Well, and that, I can honestly say. We had 3 years right in a row that the audit started earlier than usual. And it was 3 years ago, I think, that we didn't have an audit report in the warrant. Because there was missing information. That's where the big to-do happened in this one. Oh, yes. People were extremely angry. So, the audit timing is based on when the information is provided. What information is provided so that they can do the audit. If somebody doesn't give them the information that's requested, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to show you the emails that this information, here's your list, just like your accountant would give you. Hey, I need this information to do your taxes. It's the same thing. That's provided every year. It doesn't change. It's the same stuff. And there have been years where that information wasn't given and they had to improvise to get audit results to us. So I really wouldn't say that the audit company is at fault.
Yeah, I would jump right on them tomorrow. Find out what you can find out about it.
All right, the next one, to see if the town will vote to authorize any unexpended funds from the selectmen's overlay account to be divided into the capital improvement accounts. I'm okay with that. I'm glad I didn't put a year on it. So, to that 22-23, are we gonna get rid of the 22-23? Okay. See if the town will vote to raise appropriate the amount of 160 towards paving of roads, bridges, etc. It is recommended by all LRAF received to offset the article. You guys remember, I think we're right around 54,000 we get a year for this
Right.
state stuff. So. And 60. So if we do 160 plus we had a pretty good amount on paving at this point. We got blown off last year, right?
Right.
So, yeah, so 480, 160. 60. 540. 640.
480. Yeah, I'll say, yeah. Here's one dumbass.
So that'll give us a really good amount. That'll give us 640 grand for paving. Hopefully we don't get gapped up. What else? Limit. What about limit?
Oh, yeah. I can't think of the name, but now, but just call it Carroll Materials.
Yeah, Carol's. No, the boy's still there, right?
I think Frank had done.
Is he? Frankie's come up here and do it. Next articles, planning board expenses, already gone through.
Yeah.
Asking for a total of 15K for legal, so any rolled over money from last year will reduce the amount needed to grant and raise. Again, we won't have those numbers, so be prepared for questions on that. The assessing hasn't changed. Carry over the 125. Carry over the 62.5 for the 23-24 fiscal year for the reval. Right. So we need to put that put reval in there. Reval. See if the town will vote to raise an appropriate amount of $74.50 for code enforcement. That's up $1,900. Raise and appropriate $47,120 for upkeep and maintenance of the community center. $14,995 for the rec department. We'll place all funds collected from the fitness center to rollover account be used to maintain upgrade fitness center. 10,700 for the water rec. 32,700 for in-town organizations and 11,913 for out of town. And if you look at the article for the in-town, 32,700 was requested, 29,700 is what was voted on by the budget committee. The out of town dropped $2,000. That was not a budget committee item. That was due to request.
Right.
Okay. Now we get into the article for. So. First article would be for appoint verse elected treasurer spot. Now that article there, Alvina can go back for this one.
Yep.
She can go back into 3 or 4 years ago. Didn't want to. Yeah, so three years ago. 3 or 4 years ago, for the actual verbiage for that article for the treasurer position becoming appointed versus elected. And of course, it'll have to stay at the end of the current elected cycle. Okay, so after that, well, these are the blank articles, so what next?
We'll do the. Then you have to do the same one for Michelle, right? Same article,
No, we'd have to do an article, just
a separate.
correct.
Separate.
So the next one, so it'd be for point.
Town clerk.
Now, I don't remember ever seeing a article for that position. I would think it'd be the same verbiage, just a change of title. Okay, so.
What are all the blanks, the ones where
Those-
they requested?
Yeah, well, no, we put in, this is just this placeholder, if you will.
What?
That's why we're doing this. We're already on, so we did this article, then you flip the page. And now this one here will be, appointed for the town clerk position, and then
From the town what position?
clerk. Appointed versus elected. As an article. And the verbiage should be the same, other than the title, treasurer or town clerk. The article should be the same. So then we have yours, fire department and municipal appointment.
Yes,
Okay, then. Help me understand the municipal.
municipal fire department is about what we are now. We're a volunteer fire association.
Right.
That being a municipal fire department, now you're being under auspices of the town. You pretty much get anyway, the town pays the bills, the town owns the equipment,
Right.
and we're being paid by the town. So that just makes us a lot of departments are doing this because you're not getting the volunteers anymore.
Okay,
So
so
it also gives me a little more pull on, because like you say, anybody can be voted in on the association to be anything. So a person could be a deputy chief and be there for a month. This gives me a little more and gives us time a little more, the selectmen a little more pull on getting the right people in the right places.
Okay, so this is my question as far as the municipal appointment is. With that explanation, does that give, if the town votes to do that? To create the municipal fire department, at that point. After that, is it a requirement that the town hire and fire? At that point?
Now, it's under the discretion of myself. I come in and meet with you. And that's how we do it. So if I get anybody that comes in for say they want to join, I bring it to the board of selectmen.
Yeah.
I vet it out, I do the background checks, I do everything. I come to the board of selectmen.
And we say,
I get, and I talk to you about it.
Like Cliff would do.
all right,
Same
I'm just,
idea, same idea.
I didn't want to I just want to be educated on it because people are going to ask them. And
It doesn't change a thing except for that part of it. I mean, we're through the town now. Like I said, we're paid by the town, the truck's insured by the town, it just cleans it up.
no, I agree. I
You know
just,
what I'm saying?
I need to be educated enough, at least until our meeting,
Yeah.
so that I can answer people's questions.
But I've given you 3 scenarios of 3 different towns. Limerick just did it last year. Sweden just did it last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we did it for a while ago. But they're all senior volunteers now going through them.
Okay,
It's a lot cleaner.
so we can just take one of their articles.
Well, I should have MMA look at it and see if they got a, okay. Like a boilerplate or something we can work off from, because I tried to find one and I couldn't see.
Sweden won't give one up.
I got one, you got it in your packet there now,
Well,
you got
why don't we
Sebago
just-
in Sweden,
What we should do then is just get the,
but they got, like, their fire chief is appointed for a year because they're still appointed, they're not hired, so that should be struck out of there.
Yeah, well, I'm
that's two
saying
things I
that
gotta
is-
go through with.
is we can do the article, okay, so this one, Sweden, here we go.
Yeah.
So not the ordinance, where's the,
They went by ordinance, that's what I find out by MMA, is they're just an article that could be written to do this and then write the ordinance. After and get it voted on.
so. What you're saying is what Sweden did, is they did it an ordinance and then had the ordinance voted at town.
Yes, Limerick did the same, they wrote it.
Oh, okay, all
And they
right,
had it voted down.
I was just,
Yeah.
article for the warrant was what I.
Right, and that's how they did theirs by article. Denmark had theirs done, but theirs 1975, they did it by article. Things might have changed since then, since 1975. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So we don't need to do an article on that, then, Mark, we just.
if we could get a,
The planning board and get an ordinance written up, get it vetted. And.
well, does the planning board do the ordinance? I think the town, we could do that.
Yeah, I don't think the planning board does a position.
Planning board, what I'm saying is,
The
planning
planning
board
board,
has the resources. With the attorneys, the separate attorneys, to do ordinance review.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we have them?
and I know Limerick didn't go through their planning board, they wrote it, they went through the thing, but I'm just looking for some sort of.
Yeah, do an ordinance.
Yeah.
And we'll get it vetted. I'm on board with that. If we don't have to do an article in the warrant this year for the municipal appointment. And we're just gonna do it an ordinance.
What I'd like to have it done is, if it was passed, would be take effect this year, July 1st of this year,
No, we can't.
that you can.
If we do an article.
We do an article and do it.
Correct.
This ordinance.
But the ordinance has to be voted on too.
Yeah.
The ordinance could be voted on after. But remember, we have referendum in November. So it's just a state, so we can have vote on that. And we've got enough time to do the public hearings on the ordinance between now and then. You know what I'm saying? So we could do an article. For the municipal appointment in the warrant. In the meantime, working on the ordinance and meeting the timelines for the public hearings. a referendum on an ordinance in November's referendum. You know what I mean? And we don't have to call a special town meeting, nor do we have to wait until the following year. The following town meeting, so we have time.
Then you're gonna have to jam it into a, cause you're gonna be tight on your meeting now.
No,
No, you think,
90 days. November. 90 days, that's all we need.
no, I'm saying, if you try to get it into next, to this one coming out.
We can't, the
Right.
ordinance, we
It
can't,
won't make it.
no, we don't have enough time. No, 90 days. But if we do an article asking to do the municipal appointment,
To make it a list fire department, it goes from the Brownfield Volunteer Fire Association to, it'd be worded as Brownfield Fire Department.
right,
Yeah, right.
that,
You could make that out.
That could be done.
we could do that as an article, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
But the ordinance itself, we've got enough time between now and November. That it can go referendum and be voted on without having the whole special town meeting,
Yeah.
or.
If you do that, you need the ordinance.
That's what I'm wondering, if you do it as an article, if you have to have the.
If you have to have an ordinance.
Reach out, Lance.
I'll get, because I can't talk to the attorney, so,
Why?
because I was never authorized to.
What?
I've never been authorized, 30 years, I've never been authorized to talk to the attorney.
What?
Everybody that done appointments, they've left me out of that, so I've never had the opportunity to talk to the attorney.
Well,
The only time I talk to her is that she,
guess what, Hot Rod?
so I don't get to talk to the attorney. Now, number two,
Have Alvina add it right to it.
sometime I talk to the attorney if they want something.
Hmm.
On me,
The wrong one.
I'm on the wrong side of it. Yep.
I just texted the town's attorney.
Yeah.
To put you on the list of people that are allowed to reach out.
And I just wrote a note for Alvina.
Yeah, so
This is one step closer to the town. Absorbing the fire department.
Yeah, no, I'm good with it, I
It's
just
just a.
education so that I can answer
Just
questions.
a step forward,
So
I do diligence.
you can get, I just sent Lee, the town's attorney, a text. So you can reach out to her, ask your questions, email, find out if we have to have the ordinance before we. If we can do the article before the ordinance.
She may have this in a thing that she can just add and I can get it.
Yeah.
I'll try. I'll
So-
talk to her tomorrow if she's available. Would be a return.
If possible, second or third week of April, we have to have
Got everything in.
this wrapped up so we can go to print.
Yeah.
For the,
Plus 15.
Yeah, we usually shoot for the 15th.
Yeah, I try to go early, so I'll see if I can't run it in quicker.
Minuteman. Let us push to May 1st one time.
Yeah.
So hey, you gotta kind
I don't wanna
of.
hold it up, so I'll see what I can do to get it through.
Okay,
Number two,
so the article for the,
building.
yes,
We gotta have the town, gotta put an article in to see if the town will. Rebuild this thing. I don't want any dollar figures in it.
well, that's just it. If we do an article for permission for the town to accept. Funds. For the future planned. Public safety building.
But I think we should have an article in there for that public safety building. First of all, does the town want to do it? To authorize the town to do it. The townspeople want this to be done.
Well, and that's,
I kind of put the cart before the horse, because I've already, applied for the red spending, I've already got, tentatively, I'm in the running for about $2.9 million, so.
well, that's just it.
We won't come available for another year.
Asking for the money is one thing. If
They don't
getting permission for us
Just
to
to fill
accept the funding, because it's gonna be.
Oh, that's already in there. You can accept the money, but that's already, you've got an article in there that says we can accept all grants and all that.
In the best interest of the town, but it doesn't give us permission for the building. That's why putting the public safety building in an article,
That's why we got.
future planned. Public safety building,
But somehow that just be worded so we get permission to do it.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, because if we're,
Is this gonna be a town building?
And continue with it.
Yeah, it's gonna continue to be a town building.
Bill, do you remember how we,
We look back and, did the town do anything with the town garage right there? You remember? No, you guys asked for funds for that one, but how did they word that so that?
that was definitely before my time.
Oh, yeah. You guys hadn't followed it. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I think we just voted, actually, we just voted for it.
You had a dollar figure behind yours, didn't you?
Yes,
You did it.
that was, yeah.
But you didn't, but keep the town to authorize to build this thing.
Well, I don't know if we had a dollar figure. I think it was to do it and put it out to bid.
Yeah.
I think we had, we might have had some kind of a dollar figure there, but it wasn't, it was up to or something.
So somehow we can make that worded to the authorize, the town authorizes to build it. And that, any funds we get, I'm trying to write all the grants I can. But I'm at a standstill at this point because we're not sure we're gonna get this money and I won't know till spring.
It'd be
Good
good if we could present.
next year,
Right.
yeah, because the
No.
feds,
So I,
feds. It's October 1st is their fiscal year, beginning.
so it had to go in, it had to go in now, because I had to make some. I had talked to Dick real quick, because I had to make a quick snap decision on what to do, because it went to the federal government. And we went to the government right away, and I had to make a fat decision, we're doing the 75.
75-25 match.
Yeah, and so she said that's the best way to go, because that's your best chance you're gonna get.
So,
So I want to write for the rest of it, but I can't do it now until after I know we're gonna get it, because it's a waste to go out and get all this money and you can't use it. I can't have a.
So you write the article,
But just so that
for
we
the proposed
pose public safety building up
Right.
on that block.
and any. Somewhat what the plans are, but you can't put it in the article, but if you can have questions and answers. When they bring the article up. A lot of people probably don't know. What your plan, I mean, you've got a pretty drawn out, don't you?
Just a floor plan.
Right,
And the Great Falls did a good job of seeing what the building looks like.
from what I've experienced with the town boats and fire departments, hands down, they usually get what they ask for.
Well, you're asking.
As long as they understand.
It's just a lot of money and I'm trying to make it so either don't cost the town. A lot or any if I can get away with that.
And that's all in the proposal,
It's all my proposal. Yeah.
like we don't have the dollar figure, but if we can bring them on board. So that they get a general idea that they'll be paying a little amount of a big sum.
Good.
And then there's no commitments
Until this all goes back, because if it doesn't, like I wrote in the grant, I says if this funding falls through, this dead ends.
Right.
Because we are not gonna put that kind of money.
And we could put that in the article
Right.
if the funding doesn't.
Right.
It dead ends,
Yeah.
stop right there.
Yep.
That's it. That's why I don't wanna go any after anymore.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to Alvina, we'll see, and we'll just have it checked by.
The reality is.
Just to make sure, I can figure out how to word that.
okay, so she'll add that and. So those are the two that you needed, right?
Yes, this is what I needed here.
Good. So. That is up to you. So we do that, next one, for create, so take next to the zoning ordinance. If you don't see the price of it,
Yep.
so that'll go away.
what's that one,
The next one down.
The zoning ordinance.
we're gonna do away with that?
Yeah. Raise and appropriate, excellent for purchase of excavator or the mower mulcher and trailer. We can try that again?
No.
No. 7% interest on annual on taxes. Thought we couldn't do that.
It's only 3 or something.
Yeah, what, Bill and Jay said,
There's the number that we used last year was mandated by the state and it's mandated for several more years, like.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's 3, isn't it?
3 to 4.
yeah, so just
That's three.
Alvina, same as last year.
Yep.
See if the town vote set the interest rate back to the town on abated taxes at 3%. Yeah.
Mhm.
Annual town meeting in June 13th, 2024. See if town vote to increase the levy limit established for the town by state law in the event that the municipal budget approved under the preceding articles results in a tax commitment greater than this property tax levy limit. Yep. And board of selectmen accept and expand any grants or donations of money or property, providing donations, grants serve the best interest of the town. My town to sell and dispose of property, which we need to get with Wanda and get the list of properties. Yep, that's a 2-year.
She mentioned one today, the guy up by Sam Brownhill died.
Yeah, Ducky.
Yeah, and then
That's so good.
the heirs want to pay the.
They want to pay the taxes.
I'm agreeable.
That's fine with that. Yeah,
Yeah. So that the deed could go back to them.
yeah, go back to the
I'm
kids.
all for that.
Well, we should be getting a list of all, if you look in your.
There's a bunch.
warrant, there's a 2-year limit on that, and the town can seize the property.
Right.
And I understand we don't want to take property from people. But in the past, we've had people that haven't paid taxes on the properties for 20 years.
Mhm.
And yet it's still owned by them. And the town hasn't gotten anything.
It's not acceptable.
So we kind of tried to crack down on that a little bit, but we haven't gotten a list. The last properties we sold were 2 years ago. And one of them was over on the little peninsula over here on the pond. We couldn't give away the little slice up here by Twin Bridges. This literally, the guy that lives there on the right, as soon as you go past the second bridge on the right. He had his trailer, a little utility trailer, and that pretty much took up that slice of property. You couldn't give it away. It was crazy. We did sell the one over in Saco River Shores, of course, house on the right, which. Yeah, and so, yeah, if we could get that moving, because. I think we got enough time right now. We could actually have that list. For town meeting.
Yeah, because actually Kyle asked today if there's any.
Yeah, so. The town could start getting some tax revenue. So. For the auction has closed. Town transfer up to yada 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 for general fund offset tax rate.
Now, what about one for the? Your fund to go into the. Well, we missed last year, or somehow nobody voted, nobody.
For the excise tax.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
We can do an article for that. It's just the usual people didn't, that always raise their hand to amend the articles, just didn't happen last year.
yeah.
I was amazed. I was waiting for the equally divided. I was waiting for the excise tax. I was waiting for the LRAF. They just didn't.
So we should do that one too.
There should be.
So you make sure it gets done.
Every time.
So we'll add to. Let's go to the.
It's under the town one here, right?
No, go back down.
Go way back.
Right, go to, because you know the deal with the town meeting, towards the end, people, yeah. So
No,
we don't want to make it the last one. So back up,
Page 9.
page 10, go, the next two will be Dickies.
mhm,
So we'll earmark those for fire. And then we can do. We can add that before they get to the 7% interest, the 3% for the fiscal year. Add in use excise and LRAF funds.
well, there's one for LRAP. Isn't there ahead of us, ahead of that, so we,
Yeah, that's for to roll over into. But if it doesn't, that doesn't go through, then that other article
Yeah.
utilizes that to transfer over set of offset tax rate. So. Yeah, what do you think?
You're giving these back to Alvina?
Yeah.
He's gonna talk with her and get the changes done. Ask her this, please.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she does her changes.
If it
So
does
we
anything,
can go over it and. Yeah. Any other things we need to add? Anything else we need to add for rec?
Yeah, I came in just to speak, I didn't realize it was a workshop, I just came in to speak about. Funding for. A summer camp. And. Counselors and stuff like that,
What's the ratio? No,
I printed off all the state laws and stuff. Haven't, it's about 15 pages, I haven't read through all of it. So I don't have the exact ratio, but. I can get that information. I'm just gonna try to present something next week.
keep in mind, we still have, what's the free state line? Still have that.
Obviously, I'd like to put it in the budget for next year, but there's been a big push now to get a camp going.
How many people? Guesstimate.
At least 30 kids.
Oh, shit. So that's half of what Proverbs do.
And that's just for this year. I mean, we were setting an age limit of 8. If we had years down the road, if we did expand the program and had like a 4 to 7 year old or it's big. That's the one thing that I've got a lot of people reaching out to me. How come my 6-year-old can't go? How come my 5-year-old can't go? And so I said, well, we're just trying to. There's different levels for different kids, you know, and can't have 4-year-olds home 12 and 13 year olds.
Right.
Yeah, usually we're gonna hike Burton Mountain, you can't have a 4-year-old hiking with a bunch of teenagers, so.
Time of the road dragger.
So like to, just like anything else, try to just get a program started and then build it.
we got the rope tow the other day. They dropped that off last Sunday.
So I was gonna update the rec budget and then bring in all the information for the camping.
Okay. Okay. Tonight? I can think of right now. Probably have to have one more effort after it's all finished up, just to
Yeah, that's why I wanted to
go through it,
that way we can read through it.
Yeah.
And then
figure it out.
write down whatever.
Yeah.
And then hash it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I. Message town attorney. You have that. Huh?
Yeah.
The thing is, we have to make sure that the
Right.
articles are. MMA, it's the thing with MMA.
They won't back it
don't
up.
represent us. And they'll give you a legal opinion. But it's just that, it's not dependable. And that's why we go to an attorney. Get all the legalities set, we're good to go, and it's dependent. So, you're probably looking at couple hours. It's not gonna be.
Yeah.
And it's coming out of how we line item anyway for the article. Right.
Good night.
Right, thank you.
I'm on board with it, but
Put that on.
What's that?
The-